This is a fantastic option, and as you say...
Wait, is that all they're going to do to the salmon?
Yes. So while we're cooking...
I know, they're making salmon cakes.
Dump this salmon in a bowl here. If you want to break that up with a spoon, what I'll start to do is I'll start to add the other ingredients to these cakes. Now, don't worry if you overcook this. That's the key here, is that it can be overcooked, right?
Ugh.
Really kind of dust them in this panko to give it a crispy exterior, because we eat obviously texture.
He called it panko.
Those are the things.
Hold on, are we watching AI? It's panko breadcrumbs. And any fucking chef would know that.
Legislatively, by virtue of the Magnuson-Stevenson Act of '76, I think it was, all of our fisheries have to be sustainable.
Senator Ted Kennedy.
That we
Had to name drop a popular Kennedy. Teddy killed a woman, and he's still more popular than RFK. Explain that one to me. Also, this is a 20-minute video. It's going to take these two dipshits 20 minutes to make a salmon cake.
Well, you said...
Oh, he's totally spitting all over the salmon cake right now.
And there'd been
At least they're going to fry it.
saturated fats for almost 70 years.
heat it all the way through about 155, 160 degrees. You can cook them in the oven.
That is the worst looking salmon cake I've ever seen.
Relatively inexpensive.
A lot of beans, you bitch.
I went to a small college and suffered having horrible stomach issues. And I actually ended up dropping out of college and got into the restaurant industry because it was the only place I had a safe haven because my stomach issues were so bad. That
motherfucker was shitting all the time. He's like, I know, I'll go work in restaurants.
Transmitters in my intestines.
With his shit covered hand.
So, and then just a little squeeze of fresh citrus over at the end.
Yo, I'm JustinFREAKIN. Right-wingers keep trying to mock me for my sub and view count on YouTube, so I guess I'll be a good content creator and do what the algorithm gods demand and tell you to like the video. Or dislike it for all I care. I know I'm not a very likable personality. But if you do enjoy the vibes around here, be a good subby and seduce that subscribe button. And if you want to find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Troll Patrol Live, then be sure to hit that bell the way I would hit the bong. We're gonna get MAHA up in here. This is called The Real Food Show. I think we're making salmon cakes with RFK Jr.
We talk about seafood a lot because I'm a seafood junkie, and one of the things that actually drove me into the restaurant industry was understanding people need to eat more seafood and more of the right types of seafood. The thing about the new dietary guidelines I know you focused on, which was really huge for me, was getting people to eat more seafood because of...
There's something to that.
...is so low.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to The Real Food Show. Thanks to President Trump, we flipped the food pyramid and put real food back where it belongs, at the center of the American plate. I'm traveling across America, connecting with renowned chefs to show families how to cook delicious, nutritious meals with real ingredients, and all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your age.
If you flip the pyramid, it's still the same amount of foods, right? Like, because you have this amount of breads, which is a lot, right? So most of your diet is breads, grains, blah, blah, blah. You got your vegetables to the left, fruits to the right. It's the same amount of it. If you flip the pyramid, it doesn't change the amounts of things in the pyramid, right?
Food pyramid.
Because the grains were down at the bottom, and now they're at the top, but the top is the bottom. I'm very confused. How do pyramids work? They're like magnets.
Put real food back where it belongs, at the center of the American plate. I'm traveling...
Yeah, he put them at the bottom, but he put the bottom at the top. That's what I'm not getting. I'm very confused.
Across America, connecting with renowned chefs to show...
So you didn't have to flip the pyramid, you could have just changed things.
With real ingredients, and all at affordable prices. America, it's time to eat real food. Let's get cooking. Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary.
There is something to the fish thing, right? Because the people that live the longest in the world are like Japan, people in the Mediterranean, Hawaii, and they have diets that are high in fish.
Wild Alaskan salmon at an affordable price. So the servings of each of these, we ask to keep it under $5.
They're also more likely to use like a different kind of oil in their cooking, like an olive oil, which is cleaner.
And how you can eat the highest quality food in this country at a very, very affordable price. Oh, Andrew, what are we going to do today?
Okay, well, this is about taking ingredients that everybody already knows. It's approachable. You can get them at any store, and maybe manipulating them a little bit with a couple chef tricks, but nothing overly intellectual, so that we can get that flavor that's memorable, it's sticky, it's addictive. What I found as a chef is that people are so obsessed and addicted to processed food because it's chemically built to be addictive. But with a few simple ingredients that are fresh and whole and real, we'll be able
There's a low smoke point.
effect, utilizing one of our bounty items in America.
That's why olive oil isn't good for most cooking.
So we've actually got right here these
better
are
garnish.
sockeye salmon fillets. Now, these were frozen. I'm an advocate of actually using frozen seafood because the way in which they flash freeze seafood now on the boats in modern technology, it's better than fresh in some cases, right?
No, it's not.
95% of all seafood that's used for sushi in the United States is frozen. So if you think about sushi being the freshest and it's frozen, that freezing kills the parasites. It's a good thing. But more importantly, it's cheaper when you buy it frozen. In addition, you can even buy this in the can, or you don't even...
I'm pretty sure he was wrong on virtually everything he just said.
Any other type of American caught seafood, and you're still going to be able to utilize this recipe. So I start
And
off...
if you get it in the can, it's actually going to be cheaper than $5.
Yeah, much cheaper. Yeah, much cheaper. And nowadays, you've got a diversity of seafood that you can get in a can, from sardines, even abalone, right? They're starting to farm abalone in a responsible manner. So you could use abalone if you wanted to in this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just lightly, and this is where people get confused when they're cooking seafood, is they get, what do I do, right? I'm so scared of seafood, it's going to stick. If you're a beginner, right, and you're just kind of in that elementary level cooking seafood, just start off...
RFK looks like a big dumb goof standing there.
And a good extra virgin olive oil, or you can even use a beef tallow or an avocado oil. It's neutral, and it's not full of all those seed oil.
You use 21 cents
Hit it with a little
olive
bit of sea
oil.
salt, and we're going to hit it on both sides with this fat, and we're going to throw this into a 400-degree oven just to gently cook the seafood. As I step through this recipe, I want to show you a few tricks and show the viewers some tricks that these are ways in which you introduce flavors, addictive flavors, into your food without increasing either the cost or adding chemicals. So fresh herbs are key for me. So I'm always going to be using fresh herbs at every step of the way when I'm cooking it. In this case, I'll just put some thyme on there because that'll perfume it as we stick it in
On a salmon.
And then that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this into a 400-degree oven, and we're going to cook it until it's fully cooked, about 8 minutes. And from there...
So this dude's stupid because
put it together.
what you want to do first is crisp up your skin because that's the best part of the salmon.
And cooled. So that's all you're going to do is you're going to cook it and you're going to cool it. Now, we talk about seafood a lot because I'm a seafood junkie, and one of the things that actually drove me into the restaurant industry was understanding people need to eat more seafood and more of the right types of seafood. The thing about the new diet,
Like a bourbon peppercorn glaze on a salmon.
was getting people to
That's
eat
my
more seafood
favorite.
because our seafood consumption is so low. We have this omega-3 deficiency, DHAs, selenium, zinc, iron, all of the necessary vitamins that would be in seafood are not in our diets because our per capita consumption...
I'm guessing he's probably not going to use the skin side. It's been
And
dead.
is 51 pounds per person, and they have no metabolic disease, some of the longest, health span, etc. So, what are your thoughts in regards to the ways in which we get seafood in our diet, or why there's such a deficiency?
I think it's
But you didn't cut it off,
a
so
lot of seafood in this country, but we're used to eating meat and think of that as our protein. Today, we have the lowest level of cattle herds in history in at least 100 years. The cost of meat has gone up. We're doing everything that we can in the administration to bring that down and increase the size of the herd. But until that happens, this is a fantastic option. And as you say, this has the omega-3. It has many of the vitamins and nutrients that are...
wait, is that all they're going to do to the salmon?
Yes. So while we're cooking...
I know, they're making salmon cakes.
This salmon in a bowl here. If you want to break that up with a spoon, what I'll start to do is I'll start to add the other ingredients to these cakes. Now, don't worry if you overcook this. That's the key here, is that it can be overcooked, right? If it's undercooked, we're gonna sear it in a pan anyways. All I'm gonna do is create a binder here. As you mix that up, I'm gonna do 1 egg.
Do not listen to this dude. He does not know what he's talking about.
Just lighten breadcrumb, and that's gonna kind of pull everything together. Now for the flavor element, I'm gonna add...
This is the worst cooking show ever. Wait, your flavor comes from Dijon mustard.
Some fresh chives, right? So you'll get 2 different onion or vegetal flavors from the onion. And another element that people don't necessarily talk much about is nutritional yeast. This is actually very good for you, and it adds a ton of umami and richness without having to add things like cheese or any of those other fattier ingredients that might overpower the flavor of the salmon. And then I'm just...
Great for your microbiome.
Wonderful for the microbiome. I'm also gonna add just a little bit of avocado oil mayo right here, and that's gonna pull it together. So we can kind of pull that in together, and then we'll make the cakes. Now, what people always ask me is, well, seafood is too expensive. Now, I trade in seafood, and the American wild seafood, we have the most sustainable
seafood, not too expensive.
Legislatively, by virtue of the Magnuson-Stephenson Act of '76, I think it was. All of our fisheries have to be sustainable.
By Senator Ted Kennedy.
All of our fisheries have to be sustainable, and yet we import 80+% of our seafood. We export our bounty of seafood. And of the 80% that we
had to name drop a popular Kennedy
farmed overseas, because we don't have an open ocean aquaculture policy here. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with...
Teddy killed a woman, and he's still more popular than RFK. Explain that one to me.
Kind of the price differential with the trade imbalance. But furthermore, how we can promote and get people to eat more of the right types of U.S. wild, and some of it's farmed or fortified, stock fortified here in the United States.
Also, this is a 20-minute video. It's going to take these two dipshits 20 minutes to make a salmon cake.
A week after I got in, I got handed the Dietary Guidelines that had been worked upon for 4 years by the Biden administration. They were 453 pages long, and they were written by food industry lobbyists. And they reflected the same kind of...
Oh, I believe that.
...that had put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. And we threw those...
No, it didn't.
We bought the best nutritionists in the country.
Fruit Loops were not at the top of the food pyramid.
Together for a year. We locked them in a room for 11 months, and we said...
Oh, he's totally spitting all over the salmon cake right now.
And there'd been...
At least they're going to fry it.
...saturated fats for almost 70 years. The government had been lying.
Fruit Loops were not the top of the food pyramid.
There was no science that supported that. And one of the things we found when we started looking at the real science was that when you don't eat protein, you eat something else. And it was ultra-processed foods. And most people chose. So 70% of the calories that our children were eating were ultra-processed food. And it's no wonder that we had a metabolic crisis. And, our diabetes rate had gone from 0 in children to about 38% diabetic or pre-diabetic. And we had the sickest country in the world. And we got to get people eating protein again, because when you eat protein, you don't eat the other stuff.
Secretary Kennedy, I'll tell you a crazy story. So I grew up in that world. All I ate was cereal, pasta, refined carbs, etc. I went to a small college and suffered having horrible stomach issues. And I actually ended up dropping out of college and got into the restaurant industry because it was the only place I had a safe haven because my stomach issues were so bad. It wasn't until 2014 when I completely cut seed oils out of my diet and all of the processed foods that I actually healed my entire body strictly with diet. That
motherfucker was shitting all the time. He's like, I know, I'll go work in restaurants.
Transmitters in my intestines. They tried to give me anti-anxiety medication, and it wasn't until I changed my diet, ironically, after becoming a chef, that it all got healed.
At least it made you happy, right?
Well, being it drove me into the kitchen, which was the best thing in the world. So speaking of, I've got, so now I'd done some of these cakes ahead of time because you want those to sit and you want them to actually absorb some of that binder. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna take these cakes and I'm just gonna kind of cake them up into a ball, and you see how it comes together.
Cake these cakes up.
And you can form them however you want, and then just really kind of dust them in this panko to give it a crispy exterior, because we eat obviously texture.
He called it panko.
Those are the things you don't pay for these tips.
Hold on. Are we watching AI? He called it panko. He's supposedly a chef. It's panko breadcrumbs. And any fucking chef would know that. Are we watching AI? Did I get got? This guy isn't a fucking chef.
Extra for texture. This is just breadcrumbs. You can make your own at home. So I'm gonna put some of this on the exterior, and then we're just going to cook these in a carbon steel pan until they are heated all the way through, about 155, 160 degrees. You can cook them in the oven.
That is the worst looking salmon cake I've ever seen.
And an arugula and green apple salad to go along with this. So another area in which people can actually save money and eat better, and I talk about this, I impress this upon everybody, even my customers, I'm losing business doing this, is that vinaigrettes, dressings, condiments, that's what I grew up with. As I mentioned, my 2 working parents, microwave generation, everything was just condiments in the refrigerator and then takeout and fast food. And I realized that not only was I addicted to salad dressings and condiments, but I was becoming addicted to the seed oils. So the first thing I do when I teach kids, our kids, other kids, and even adults who are entering the kitchen to cook is how simple it is to make a fresh vinaigrette. So we're gonna do that.
Yeah, vinaigrettes are great.
And really, a vinaigrette is just an emulsion, the coming together of 2 ingredients that otherwise wouldn't come together. In this case, we're gonna use extra virgin olive oil and some cider vinegar. I really like the cider vinegar just because it gives it that nice sharp bite. It's inexpensive and it's also pretty good for you. So I'm gonna add that here. We do a ratio, right? So we do 1 part cider vinegar to really 3 parts oil. Add some fresh herbs in here, even maybe add some nutritional yeast. Oh, and I added the Dijon mustard because not only, one of the things I tell people is when
nutritional yeast.
Intellectualize it. Think about your palate. Salty, sour, sweet, and bitter. Dijon fulfills the bitterness. We get a natural sweetness from the cider vinegar. You get the fattiness from the extra virgin olive oil. We'll add a little bit of salt to this, and the sweetness can come from the vinegar. And if you wanted, you could add some honey to this. But it's a 3 to 1. It's not.
The sweetness can come from the vinegar, he said.
Virgin olive oil here, 3 to 1. If you want it more acidic, you can add, make it more of a 2 to 1, if you will. And the cost on this, right now, if you went
apple cider vinegar has an apple flavor. It is not sweet. In no world. This dude is an idiot.
We just mix it up, let that Dijon mustard, which as I mentioned is a natural emulsifier.
Well, I would usually use my hand mixer
into the vinaigrette. And right here we've got a healthy vinaigrette, no seed oils.
I've got a food processor. I'd probably
and a little bit of
pour the oil into as I blended it.
And voila, we're done.
Because you're not going to get a good mix like that.
A week or 2. It's got pretty good shelf life. But for the purposes of our...
This is the worst cooking show.
We're just going to toss up a little wild arugula. Making a salad is really one of the simplest things in the world, but you could charge $23 for this at a fine restaurant and a nice plate. But when you do it at home, it's incredibly inexpensive and healthier for you. I'm going to add some fresh cracked pepper here. And another trick. Too many times people throw away the lemon after they squeeze the lemon juice in there, but the exterior of the lemon is full of
lemon zest, yes.
Flavor.
Everybody knows about lemon zest.
Eating your salad with a little bit
69 cents.
Zest. Does the
motherfucker.
And we'll add, one of the things, especially with me having stomach issues, is, kind of trying to get more prebiotics, more fiber into my diet. And I learned
just kidney beans
are essential, especially with the breakdown and the being, an essential protein / fiber. So I'm going to throw some white beans into this salad as well, and they're relatively inexpensive. If you
a lot of beans, you bitch.
A toss. I'm going to pull a spoon here. You can toss it up with a spoon. There you go.
Oh, tell us how you sharpen the knife.
So I'm honing.
Who would eat the food that they are making?
Keep a sharp knife, because the best tool in the kitchen is a sharp knife. Actually, the most dangerous tool in the kitchen is a dull knife, and it kind of seems counterintuitive, but
I am less hungry than when we started watching this.
You're cutting and typically lose a finger, which is how I lost this one. but this is also fun. This is what my kids love doing, right? So you always use this honing steel, and then you go.
Brother, let's fry up the finger. It'd probably be tastier.
Right. Teach your kids how to do this, and you'll be able to cook faster, quicker. We're talking through this right now.
Don't give the kids a knife like that.
Our cakes are already done. They've just been slowly cooking on the back burner over here because time is money. Now for the last piece, I'm gonna add just some matchstick green apples. To me, apples are, you know, as iconic as apple pie, obviously, but one of the most important produce items that you can find at the grocery store.
Okay, take out the beans.
Apples.
Do the apples.
Varieties, they're so healthy and they're so
with the arugula.
So
throw in
I
some
like to
feta.
include them into my salads or all the different dishes. This is how I get my kids to eat. I mean, we got 4 kids. They're in the kitchen all the time. And one thing I've learned,
I'd probably make a balsamic vinaigrette to go with it,
outside
though.
of, you know, just biting an apple, is if the kids cook it themselves, they'll eat it. So that's always the joke. Like my son, you know, he hates mushrooms. So one day I got one of those salad knives and had him cut the mushrooms up. Because he cut them and he cooked them, he ate the mushrooms. So nowadays I just have the kids cooking it.
That is a good trick.
Cooking everything, yeah. Perfect. So a little white bean, green apple, wild arugula, that bitterness, kind of peppery. And those are the greens, right? The healthfulness from
And I probably wouldn't do just a straight arugula salad either. You'd probably do baby spinach and arugula.
These are canned white beans. I just rinse them off to get.
Because arugula is a strong flavor in and of
Arugula's
itself.
already been cleaned. The green apple was a quick slice. That's something I would let my kids do normally to get their knife skills going. You know, we've got restaurants and
Again, affirming that I don't believe this guy knows how to cook.
Yeah. Good plan.
I've also learned in California, kids can't sue you, so that's helpful. No, I'm just,
Shia LaBeouf is not a good chef.
you know, if you look at the expanse of all these different ingredients, and I think about it in regards to the new
Are we done? Is this the
for me,
end of the
that's-
video?
Because I've been a chef who's been banging my head up against the wall for 10, 15 years, especially on the seafood side of things, telling people, get rid of that imbalance between 6s and 3s, right? You got to eat more 3s and you got to decrease your 6s as well so that we can get back to that normalized ratio. And it wasn't really until you brought attention to it, and now ultimately through this dietary guidelines, that people say, oh, okay, it's credible. And we're teaching them how to get back into their own kitchen, because it all starts right here. And this is fun food, right? This is delicious food. We can even plate it up right now, and the viewers can see. You know, make sure I get a bunch of the beans in here. And the green apple, you know, people think apple's sweet. Interestingly, apple is actually tart. So when you're composing dishes,
Green apples are, you dick.
like salmon that have all those natural inherent fats, right? Those omega-3s, the DHAs, you always want to think about having something tart or acidic to cut through that richness, because otherwise the food could taste a little overwhelming. And when people say to me, oh, it tasted rich and fishy, I always think to myself, maybe you didn't have the right balance of ingredients. And these cakes just cooked simply right here. We're gonna just kind of put those off to the side. All right, real simple. And if you wanted to,
I would not eat that.
or use a little bit of the extra dressing right onto the, there we go.
Shit covered hand.
So, and then just a little squeeze of fresh citrus over at the end. And then just some fresh chives at the end. And there we go.
I don't believe that he's real.
It's that simple.
Beautiful.
So this right here, this dish cost about $5, and we're using wild Alaskan sockeye salmon. If you wanted to use canned salmon or even an alternative protein or seafood source, you can get it all the way down to
There is no way.
$3 a portion. That includes the salad, the white beans, the special vinaigrette.
The salmon was $8. He showed
The
us.
quality of fine dining, but at the cost and convenience of the new dietary guidelines, which is not that expensive.
All right. Amazing.
Thank
No,
you.
it's
First
not.
Cook for a dignitary.
Thank you, Chef Andrew Gruel. We're here today to teach Americans how to eat real food, high quality food at affordable prices, and we'll see you next time.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
But he made 2 salmon cakes. That's his serving for one person. He used all of the salmon, which was $8. I'm not good at math.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
But that plate was not $4.
Like one it and one back, one more click, so we hit the sets. set an alert for when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.